Zero here, coming to you guys with another review video now that my internet is actually working. Well, now that I've found a way around the problem. I'm going to be reviewing the other big name card of Legacy of the Valiant. I've recently reviewed number 101 Silent Honor Arc and its Chaos number 101 Silent Honor Dark. And if you haven't checked that out, you probably should now. But the other card I'm going to be talking about, which is the other really big hype card in the set, is none other than Evilswarm Exciton Knight. The probably the big one of the two. I guess I want to call this the more talked about card when it was revealed than 101, but I guess they were kind of the similar. This is the big card which has been causing a lot of people to get really upset. And it's causing a big amount of debate, actually, that I've seen in a lot of Facebook groups as to whether this card is worth the hype. For those of you who do not know what Evilswarm Exciton Knight is, it's a light rank 4 fiend with the effect that reads, and if I can get it to be glare-free and zoom in for you, you can read along. Once per turn, during your main phase or your opponent's battle phase, if your opponent has more total cards in their hand and their side of the field than you do, you can detach one Xyz material from this card, destroy all other cards on the field. Also, your opponent takes no further battle damage this turn. This is a quick effect. I'm kind of glad they put that in there because there were so many people who were saying to me, no, it's an ignition, but you have to do it in a chain. Like, people were saying, I can't use it as chain link 1, I had to activate it during a chain, and no. There's so many crazy things like that. There are two things that this card immediately reminds you of. The first thing it reminds me of course, is the illustrious and infamous Black Rose Dragon, the card that we feared for the last format and a bit as being one of the most powerful cards in the game, in the Dragon Ruler, Dragon Ravine type deck mirror, especially when Debris Dragon was a thing, making this card ridiculous. So it reminds you immediately of Black Rose Dragon. Another awesome thing about this card that really reminds me of the olden days is it says that because this card has quick effect, you can basically call Prio. It's like calling Ignition Prio with like Chaos Sorcerer. Say when you used to summon your Chaos Sorcerer and they'd go bottomless, you could go Priority, or like JD, you could go JD Priority, which is of course gone now for ignition based effects, but for quick effects, that still stands. If I go this guy, your opponent goes bottomless, I can still go Priority Chainlink 2 effect. Well, like Priority style Chainlink 2 effect, which I think makes this card incredible. One big piece of theory that I really want to pull up now, this card on its own is kind of risky, with the same amount of risk-reward factor as Black Rose Dragon, because Fiendish Chain is a card, and so is Solemn Warning. But if you've played around the Solemn Warning, or you've seen the Solemn Warning go, this card coupled with MST, like with an in-hand MST, basically wins you the game. If you make this guy, and you know the warning is gone, or you know they don't have the warning because they like revealed it off a duality and put it back in the deck, don't know why you would, you basically win, because their only response, other than Veiler, is chain. And if you have the MST to their chain, this is gonna go off. So this card is outrageous. Right, I'm actually going to get onto the kind of theory part that I want to talk about with this card, and my actual opinion on it. A lot of people have been going, yay, this card is awesome, and this card is really, and some people have been bitching, saying this is really overpowered. Now, I want to bitch about this, but in a different way, because while I am fine with its effect, I think that's great. You know, Synchros have a Black Rose, why shouldn't Xyzs have a Black Rose? And Black Rose is easy to make, Exciton is equally as easy to make, so you can't bitch about it being, easier than Black Rose. You should be thankful it has a restriction. The only thing that really pisses me off is its restriction. I wish its restriction was the other way around. If you were in a better position than your opponent, you can use this effect. Because in my opinion, the way this card is worded, as a comeback card, which is what they're trying to do, they're trying to make the game more fun. As a comeback card, it rewards, in my opinion, bad players, or players who have overextended and lost out, and put themselves in a minus situation. Which is kind of, like, for a lot of the time I was playing the game, especially during, like, Rabbit format and things like that, if you were the player that was ahead in advantage, you were the better player. You were the player who was playing with the best card economy. You were the player who was being the most conservative and just playing. It was a sign of playing well. Usually if you won a game, it's because you out-advantaged your opponent. I know that with the Dragon format, that has somewhat changed, but in some of the more quote-unquote fair matches, advantage is a real system of kind of indicating which player is ahead. Not really life points so much, but card advantage, which is why this card upsets me so much, because this card breaks the card advantage kind of economy, if you know what I mean. This card is an instant thing that says, I am playing badly, I have gone minus, I'm going to fix that and immediately tilt the game in my favour. Whereas I wish this card was a card that read, if you have more cards in your hand and or on field than your opponent, blow up the field. Because it would then reward players who were ahead in advantage and seal them their game for playing well, for being ahead in advantage. So, I don't know, like, and also that would make its effect a little worse, because often you'd probably have more cards on field, so you'd have to really judge whether or not you wanted to use its effect. But it's just annoying, and I suppose, I don't know, I'm just a little kind of in two minds about this card. I personally will be playing this in everything I can play in, because it's an outrageous card for that reason. I currently play it in Mermail. I can have situations where I've gone minus, or when my only play is Pike Gund for the Pike Turge play, and I can immediately steal game back and do ridiculous things, because sometimes in my Mermail deck I am quite low on my resources, especially when I'm going into a Tidal grind, where I've just got Tidal and Grave cycling out. So I can do some really ridiculous things with this card, and don't get me wrong, I absolutely love playing it. I think it's a ridiculously good card. But I don't enjoy its existence in the game. One other thing that I want to talk about is with this effect before I actually start comparing it to other things and where it's worth the big hype. I love the final clause on its effect that states, also your opponent takes no further damage this turn. I think that is an incredible saving grace on its effect. Whereas with things like Black Rose Dragon, I'm going to bring up Dragon format again because it's been 8 months of that and I'm full of theory from that. With Black Rose Dragon, if they summoned it, use this effect, you were almost always going to lose, because they would just wreck your field and then just go, okay, now I'm going to commit my board and swing, because you have nothing to stop me. This card, yes, it can do the same thing. It can completely wipe the board. Your opponent can commit, but they cannot use effect or battle damage, base damage, to kill you that turn. They can't. They just can't. Which is great. I really am glad they actually put this in. Otherwise, this card would be the herald of so many OTKs. It wouldn't be nice, and then I would really dislike this card, even more than I already do. So to summarize, before I start comparing and kind of giving judgments, I love playing this card, but I hate its existence in the game. It's like Dragon Rulers. When Dragon Rulers were a thing, I loved playing the deck because the deck was incredible, and I wasn't going to not play it for a stupid thing called morals, which I don't understand. In Yu-Gi-Oh anyway. They were ridiculously good, but also they had a really detrimental effect on the game. So I'm a go with the flow player. If something is good, I will play it. I do not stand by the code of ethics that says, oh, I'm going to play something original. I'm not, because I'm going to lose to all those players who say, you know what, I'm just going to play the best deck. So I'd rather not limit myself with a code of morals that no one else is abiding by. Sorry, but that kind of went off on a tangent there. But I'm going to put the Exciton Knight over here because we can compare it to the other big hype card now. Because a lot of people are asking the question, which of these two cards is better? Well, of course, for the wallet, this card is a lot better. I picked this up for £20, which is about $35, I think, I guess. And I picked up my Exciton Knight for £50, literally the week it came out. Sorry, did I say? Yeah, £50, literally the week it came out, which I think is about $85. So I picked it up for a lot, but I do not regret it because I needed it for regionals, which is coming up. And also I'm an absolute whore. I always need the new stuff, the new best stuff as soon as it comes out for you guys, for YouTube, because otherwise you'll ask me where it is, which really infuriates me. So for the wallet, this card is so much better. This card is so much cheaper. However, I also need to say that I feel that Silent Monarch is the better card in general. For one reason, how often you're going to use it and how many situations it's going to get you out of. There are so many situations in which this card is in my opinion, fragile. While Evilswarm Exciton Knight does kill everything on the board, it doesn't protect you from your opponent's hand and it has a tiny, tiny body, so it will die. It just dies. It does its effect and dies, in my opinion. Also, little known fact, while I remember, if you activate this guy's effect, your opponent books him. He kills himself, apparently. I can't find the official ruling, but everyone's been telling me if you activate his effect and he's booked, because he's no longer able to recognize himself, he's destroyed. So that's pretty interesting. And then number 101, Silent Honor Arc. I think that this card just gets you out of more situations. As I said in my actual review video, it works as an aggressive Maestroke. It's able to take away so many things that this card can't. There are so many cards that this card can't destroy, namely BL's, the new Dark Dragon that's coming out, whereas this guy can take it away instantaneously. I don't feel that one of these is worth running over the other. I feel if you're able to make this, you're equally as able to make this, and they're both versatile in different situations. I just feel that you're going to be making number 101 more than you are Exciton Knight. At the locals that I played at last weekend, so 2 days ago, with Mermail, you can find the deck list on the channel as well. I played this almost every match, and I met like multiple times each match, so multiple games. Whereas this card I never actually made. It was there, it was a threat, but there were so many situations in which I just didn't make this because this is going to sound egotistical and it's not meant to, but as a player that considers himself good and focuses on the card advantage game, the way I play the game is very card advantage based. I never really have the situations where I can make the Exciton Knight because I'm almost always ahead in advantage anyway. People have commented on the way I play Mermails as whenever I make a play, my hand will only ever go down by 1 card and I'll gain like 3 on the field. I always try and make sure that my card economy is sound before I commit to the table because I don't want to lose to any mass destruction cards, so I don't want to lose my investment. So Evilswarm Exciton Knight for my gameplay, for my play style, and for a lot of other quote-unquote good players, it's going to be quite bad. It's going to be quite infrequently used because a lot of them are going to stay ahead in advantage the whole game and win because of it, or lose because your opponent pushes through and never actually make this. Whereas this card has no such restriction and it's able to take away all sorts of odd cards. So in review, I feel that both cards are equally good rank 4s. I'm going to sit on the fence about this, which is how I think people should. These are both equally good rank 4s. This card is a lot better for its versatility and its price tag, whereas this card is incredibly good for its effect, but it's also, in my opinion, a lot more game damaging. This card changes the way you play. This card damages the way you play. This card rewards people for going minus, overextending, and just things like that, whereas this card really, I don't know, rewards smart players because of the Big Eye Wars rule, and it rewards people for it rewards people who put their Draco Sacks in defense. If you put your Draco Sack in defense, you're a good player because this card exists. So yeah, I think that's about all I wanted to say. I think that's about everything I wanted to bring up. I hope you guys have enjoyed this card review. I'm considering making this a thing because I enjoy gibbering away about my theory on certain cards. So if there's something you would like me to review, please feel free to comment in the description below what card you'd like me to review. I can do really old cards, I can do really new cards. I'm not going to be doing Japanese cards that have yet to come out because I don't really like just narrating and look with a picture on the screen. So cards that are already out in the TCG, please. And if you've seen it in one of my videos, that would be really helpful because then you'll actually know I have it rather than having to make me go out and get it. So yeah, let me know what you want to see. I'll hopefully have some more videos. I know I'm doing a Harpy deck profile later on tonight. But yeah, hope you guys have enjoyed. This has been JamilyKid00. I'll see you guys next time, hopefully, with one of a Player's Choice card reviews. Peace out, guys. Bye-bye.